Welcome to Bizruptions, a video podcast where we talk about the ish that happens along the road to business success and how to keep pushing through it. And now, from the Yokel Local Studios in lovely Las Vegas, with your Think Out of the Box hosts, Stormie Andrews and Borah Fortune Stott.
Woohoo! Okay, we are here for a special episode, a special day, a special time, and we have a special guest that flew in to be with me. It just so happens that you're here as well, Stormie. But he actually came in to see me, and he is a powerhouse.
Powerhouse. No powerhouse wants to come see you, Borah.
They all want to come see me. I've got this list going, and they're all coming.
So who do we have with us today?
We have Dave Levine. So
welcome, Dave.
That's right.
Let Dave say hi. Dave,
Hello.
how you doing?
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me.
There is someone here with us. It's not just the two of us. I just wanted to prove it for those of you listening on the on podcast.
The fact that you said
I forgot. I'm on video, but we're on podcast.
We're on podcast. We're on video, but we have to make sure with Stormie, he likes to put himself as the only person on camera. So since he said that, I'm going to go here and make sure that we are all shown. Okay, so we're all here today. And let me tell you a little bit about Dave. Dave founded an e-commerce company that created one of the first white label affiliate programs on the internet.
What?
Yes.
One of the first?
Yes.
When I said big baller shot caller,
okay.
I meant it. Okay?
Absolutely.
I told you.
10 months before Amazon.
10 months before her.
Boom. Hello.
Bezos got nothing on us today.
Nothing.
That's right.
That's the only thing I
That's
did.
it. Bezos, call your girl, okay? We need to talk. You need to be on the show now. I'm telling you, okay? Your life could be ruined without being on the show.
Leave your camera at home.
Exactly, right? Dave's company earned over $150 million in sales with Dave as CEO. Dave bought, I'm not even going to tell y'all this part.
Oh, this is the part I want to hear.
It gets good.
What do you buy?
I'm
What do you buy? I got to hear
tell you
it.
this.
I got to hear
So
it.
welcome to the show, Dave. Thank you
Wait
so
a
much for being
second.
here.
Thank you.
I want to know what Dave bought.
We're going to talk about it
Oh,
soon,
we're going to
what
talk
he
about
bought.
that later?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a surprise because
That's
many
going
of
to
you
be a
are going
surprise.
to like, what? I can't believe that.
What?
They got this guy?
They got this guy?
Absolutely.
It's like, you know what? I told you, I'm stepping your game up. I'm like Beyonce. I'm going to upgrade you, Stormie. So, Dave.
Yes.
Welcome to the show. Tell us a
Welcome.
little bit
Yeah,
about
tell
yourself.
us about yourself.
Well, I mean, you want me to start with the business or?
Just wherever you want to start. This is anything goes on Bizruptions.
Well,
We allow any and everything.
well, my sex toy. Oh.
Oh, he already let it off.
Oh my God!
We got sex toys on the show? How about that?
The
How do you make
e-commerce company.
Okay.
I still own actually, but I hired a CEO to replace me in 2016. Since then, I've become a crypto asset investor. I'm
Crypto, yes.
all into the crypto revolution.
Nice.
And also working on teaching kids about money. Before high school, kids aren't taught anything about money.
Nothing.
And I think it's a travesty that kids graduate college in debt with no plan to pay it off.
Right.
So that's a big problem. I'm working on that. And I live in LA. I don't know. This question is so open-ended. I don't know where to begin.
So you know what? I want to dive right into it. Forget what Borah said. Tell us about this e-commerce empire that did $150 million in sales. What were you selling? Boxes of cereal?
When I saw
Kellogg's, watch
Kellogg's,
out.
cornflakes?
Boy, did I blow that build up, huh? Wow. No, I saw the web. When I got on a 95, thought I need to figure out how to make money here. This is really exciting. And I started a bunch of different stores. I was selling books and watches and cakes and sneakers. But one product category had the most sales, the most profit, the most traffic, and it was sex toys. So
Sex toys?
Yeah.
On the
Wow.
internet?
Who would have
knew?
thought? Who would have thought?
Absolutely. Wow. How about that?
Even back then, though, that was a niche because there weren't that many toys, and people were really into porn videos.
Okay, gotcha.
I would have been a lot richer had I done that, but I wasn't smart enough. I focused on this small niche. The industry's really grown. But anyways, and the I bought the domain sextoy.com for $70.
$70.
Yes, but I didn't want to buy sextoys.com because I didn't want to risk another $70.
Little did you know.
And everybody wanted me to. A lot of people will create a. Can you run a store for me? Can you make a store for me? So I created one of the first white label affiliate programs so that I could automate this creating stores for other people.
Okay.
And sextoys.com still points. I still run their. I run their business and have been for many years, but it cost me, several percent per transaction because I didn't spend $70.
$70.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's $70 just making that one little decision. has
Yeah,
cost
there's a
But
long
it's-
story to it. Things even out in a way because they were my affiliate. They introduced me to other things that helped me make money. So it's sort of
It all works
It
out.
all works out, doesn't it?
That's funny. So let me ask you a question. Back in 1995, before this, what were you doing? How were you making a living before you jumped into the world of e-commerce?
Well, actually, so I graduated from the University of Michigan, lived in Japan for a year to try to learn about the other side of the world. Then I was in New York City. Thought I wanted to always wanted to have my own business. It was going to New York City. Ended up working for the government. Then my father had a business. Small vending, like soda, snack,
Okay.
coffee delivery business. I worked with him for about 2 years. I was in that business, but I was so into computers. And then 4 days after seeing the web, I said to my father, I have to take a leave of absence. And I was like, I said, worst case scenario, I'm going to know everything about this web, which I know is going to be big. And then I could go back. It's my father's company, so I could.
You can come
Right,
back at any
absolutely.
time, whatever.
He would rehire me. So, listen, it wasn't the craziest, but I just, I used to set my alarm for 6 a.m.
Okay.
Sit at a desk, bang my head against the computer till midnight and go to bed. I did that 7 days a week for the first.
7 days a week.
Now, were you
When I
teaching
started.
yourself HTML or did you already?
Yeah, I started with HTML. When you say teaching yourself, like literally, there wasn't an internet to look things up. There were no books.
Right.
And that's why I say
No
bang your
books,
head
no
against
internet,
the wall.
absolutely.
My process was try to figure something out until I literally felt like I was banging my head against the wall, and I'd take a break, and then I'd come back and do it more. Like it was painful. But
Wow.
yeah.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
So you you went into an area that, and this is just significant to me because I love to hear this because we're always looking for success leaves clues. So we're always looking for the easy route out, but it doesn't sound like there was anything easy about what you did. You're talking 7 days a week.
Yeah, to start a business, you do have to put a lot of energy into it. I was, I don't know that you had to be as crazy as me. Plus, the other thing, I've learned more about now learning from experts and reading books. Granted, and when you're in such a niche, you can't read books. So, and that's just hard work. I don't know that you have to work that hard, is what I'm saying. But at the same time, to get a business going, I think you really have to sort of dive in. So
Wait a second. You've gone a little overboard now.
okay,
I've got to work.
yeah.
I'm out. Okay, now that I know I have to work, I'm.
And it depends what it's funny. Now
Okay.
I've learned also that investing and being an entrepreneur are two separate things.
Absolutely.
If you're an investor, you don't do anything. It's read like what Warren Buffett does all day. He reads.
Right.
And I saw an interview with the two people grooming to replace Warren Buffett. They said, "What's it like?" It's like, "Well, we come in, we read for 9 hours, and we go home." So
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's to be
Makes
knowledgeable. They only do a few things. Once in a while you make a decision and it better be right. That's all it's about.
Right.
Entrepreneur, you're doing. You got the things to do list. You're cranking stuff out. You got launching. You're experimenting. It's a lot of doing.
Right.
And so that is the work. That really. There's a lot of work, and and it's one thing that I've noticed because now that I'm in crypto, and you mentioned trading as well.
That's right.
A lot of traders, and you may be an awesome trader, but some of my YouTube followers, I'm a little concerned for their financial.
Oh
gain.
yeah, you have to be concerned about traders because a lot of them just they think it's simple. There's nothing simple to it.
But a lot of them they're entrepreneurs trying to be investors. Like if you're an investor, don't keep busy. If you're an entrepreneur, find a real job. Trading, and you're probably just messing up your investing.
Sure. Absolutely.
True. Very, very true. It's true.
I don't know.
But you're right. I'm
how I
good.
got on that, but
Cicelyne. That's me being hot. I'm on fire.
If that's what you want to call it. If that's what you want to call it, we'll go with that.
That's what I want to call it. That's exactly what I want to call it.
So your journey, let's get this straight, because this is a pretty awesome journey. You went from working with your dad in vending machines, starting an e-com empire.
Yeah.
Still have the e-com empire. You've put yourself in a position where you're able to hire a CEO to run the day-to-day of that operation.
Yes.
And then you've transitioned into becoming an investor.
Yep.
And it sounds like your next journey, the cryptocurrency, do you consider that part of the world of being an investor, or is that more of an entrepreneurial? Which
Oh yeah,
skill
no,
set are
the
you
crypto for me is investing.
Okay.
I took a year and a half. Basically what happened was I had bought Bitcoin in 2015 around $350. I'm like, this looks like it could be something great. And then all of a sudden it starts going up a lot. And then I was looking at it and I realized, oh, wait, there's 1,000 other tokens? And this is a platform. It's not just it's like, wow. And then I started thinking, geez, I could read about this all day. And so then I said,
you really could. You absolutely could.
Why don't I do that? So I dropped everything. And if you've heard the term falling in the rabbit hole,
Absolutely.
I moved into the rabbit hole and literally stopped.
Took up residence.
I stopped reading other books. I only read books about economics and anything related to cryptocurrency. Reading, I still fall. It's a long story of how intense. All I did was study for a year and a half, and then as well make some investments. And I'm no longer as intense. I'm trying to spend more time on other things, and I sort of have. Long story is, I'm trying to do that Warren Buffett thing. Is if I'm reading all day, if I'm smart, if I know what's going on,
right.
When I make an investment, I have a better chance of it being right. And
Absolutely.
I've been doing well so far, but at the same time, the difference between investing and running a business. If in my business last quarter we made, so many dollars, I made that. We have it. It's done.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
In investing, you made a lot of money, and it's like, well, maybe it'll be gone next month. Like
Right.
you don't, it's very different. So everything is like it's good, but I'm not going to do any victory laps for 5 years, until we see.
Is that what it is? For 5 years, I can't dance. I can't do my happy dance for 5 years. Is that what you're
Well,
telling
you
me?
can't
Dave?
dance, so that's okay.
Well, you must know, but trading here today, gone tomorrow can happen,
Absolutely.
So yeah.
That's very true. Now, on here, it says your bio says entrepreneur, investor, and educator.
Yes.
Ooh, so what are we teaching?
These teenagers.
So I've always been fascinated about money. I've been fascinated about two things. One is this decentralization, which is what got me on the web.
Okay.
Why I kind of am able to understand cryptocurrency. And the other thing is just money, the philosophy of money. What is money? I've always found that interesting. And so now it's all come together. And I see in schools, there's a lot of, we can all complain about what they're not teaching in schools.
Right.
The list is long, but they're trying. But when it comes to money, I'm just astounded by how little it goes on and is taught. And it's really, and it's so important. I thought, since nobody's teaching this, it's probably because there's some sort of pushback.
Sure.
But everybody's like, yeah, great idea. We need that. Come help. And everybody's been so positive about it. So it's the first thing I've ever done where I'm getting a positive response. Like when I used to tell people, especially in Boston in '95, telling people you sell sex toys, like they would want to. It was either run out of the room, turn their back on me, which was about 50%, and the other was like, "Oh my god!"
See, I would have thought. Now, here's what I would have thought, and I've been waiting for this day.
It doesn't matter what you would have thought.
To sing this song, I would have thought they would have stopped and just said, "Bow chicka bow 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 bow."
I get a lot
You
of
probably
bow
got that.
chicka bow wow. Yeah.
That's what I thought they would have done. I've been waiting to use that one.
And then
Thank you.
And then, owning Bitcoin, people think, it's a pyramid scheme and, think I'm stupid for that. But for the first time, I tell people what I'm doing and they're like, wow, that's great. I'm like, really? I can't.
You have overall
That's cool.
acceptance for the
Wow.
first time in life.
I'm
Right.
That's great.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's fun.
So when you go into a school, and I'm assuming you go into a school to work with teenagers to teach them about money, is this a one-day course, a 1 week, 1 month, the school year? How does it
also
work?
just to explain, I had, only a few months ago crawled out of the rabbit hole and realized I almost had a similar thing. It's like, this is what I want to spend my time on. And
Okay.
I'm now 50% studying crypto because I can't help myself and then work. So it's sort of new. And what I did is I sat down and said, okay, I'm just going to make a curriculum. So what's all the things about money? And I started writing. Turns out it's a big subject.
Yeah, absolutely.
It kept getting bigger and bigger.
Huge.
I'm like, okay. And then I was like, well, why don't I take out the investing? Because I'm trying to start at the beginning for kids. You got to learn how to make money before you invest. And then I shrunk it down further. So I have a lot of material. One area I think is good to start is how to start a business, because kids are good at that.
Right.
They enjoy that. And I think having money coming in is a good place to start. So now I came up with like a course, a little curriculum for some how to start a business thing. And I talked to my local school where I live, Playa Vista, and it's not final yet. We're working out the details, but I think at the end of May for like 3 weeks, I'm teaching 5th graders entrepreneurship.
That's so cool.
Oh, that is awesome.
so cool.
And I have so I feel like I have a lot of material, and I'm just looking for audiences at this point. You know,
Right.
I'm like, there's other schools and talk to, and schools have a lot of regulations, and it's
Sure.
not the easiest. But I've sort of just started, so actually I think I'm doing okay for that. And then I'm just looking at how, like I said, maybe in Playa Vista I just set up a thing. I don't know, Tuesdays after school I'm teaching a course, market it, and see if people show up. I'm not
Sure.
trying to make money at it, which makes it easy. So if there's any costs,
that does make a
it's like,
difference,
here's the
yes.
cost. It just maybe help me cover costs. Or honestly, if it's just one class, how expensive could it be?
Absolutely.
It's
you can do
free.
it at the Boys Club.
You know, I'm just trying to get my theory. My original thought was create a class, a
Okay.
course, teach it based on results, edit it, redo it, teach again, and then it's done. Now I could say, okay, this is good, and then figure out distribution.
Right.
And there's a lot of different options on that, but
Have you heard of the internet?
yes. Oh yeah, I'm all into the
I know people.
I know people.
I know this guy.
Yeah.
I know this guy, right? He built this e-com empire. I
Okay.
can introduce you to him, and he might be able to help you get this
Good.
thing going.
Good, thank you. Please, I need all the help.
Yeah.
If I were you, I wouldn't trust anyone that Stormie knows. I just wouldn't. I'm just telling you. I wouldn't trust anyone
Yeah,
he
I tell you,
knows.
that would be a little.
So is this something that this passion about with helping children and finance and marrying the two together, which is, of course, so needed? Because if you think about it, if we were set with the foundation for success as children when we're most creative, when we're absolutely unstoppable, at that point, if we were given those tools, just imagine how much more successful we would be, and some of the financial woes and challenges that we have would be eliminated.
Yeah, a lot of things about money are not that complex, So
Yes.
the basic stuff. If you want to be Warren Buffett is another story, but
Right.
just like some of the things people tell me, and I have to keep remembering this because as you make a simple course, you forget stuff that's so simple. We've gone through life, and it's like, don't spend more than you have. Like people are like, oh, when I learned that, it changed everything. I'm like, shit, I forgot to mention. You know what I mean? Like, who would even, and so what was your question?
My question was more or less where this came from. Was it becoming a parent? Was it what led you down this new rabbit hole?
Well, the funny thing is I've always been interested in education. When I was in high school, all I could think all day was, this is horrible. Like, it's just not well
Oh my
done.
God, so did I.
And I remember, and I made a deal with myself because I was on the borderline. Am I going to be a bad kid who rebels, or am I just going to suck it up and get A's? It's like, and I decided, I said to myself, I'll make a deal. You get the A's, and later we will come back for our revenge. And that has fueled much of my energy. And my other idea has always been make as much money as possible, so that then I don't have to worry about money, and then I can go to education, because whatever. That was sort of always my plan. And my dream for education is sort of, in fact, but the reason I'm at the event, the other reason coming to Vegas is this Breathe event.
Oh, tell us about the
Yes.
Breathe event.
So Well, what's funny about it is Sean Willis, you know her, right?
Right?
Yes,
Did
she's
she
been on the
tell
show.
you that she was an affiliate of my toy store many years ago?
No.
She
Yeah.
did not.
Hey.
John, you're holding out on us.
I wonder if you're listening.
And I remember, and I remember talking to her. She was at an event, and I'm talking but I just remember we talked about. I used to have a saying: build a life, not a company.
Right.
And
Okay.
she was like, she was fascinated. Never heard before there should be anything other than working hard.
Right.
And she loved it. And, and then years later, I don't know, it was funny, just like, and then a little while ago, we reconnected, and she's like, she's having this event. And it's a little sort of partly inspired. It's not like I'm the only one who talked about that with her in the past, but anyway, she remembered.
She
And-
did tell us that part. She did
Yes,
tell
she
us
did.
about the inspiration that came from you and
Absolutely.
the alignment. She just didn't say that it was.
It was started
what,
from. I tried
what
to help
that
her.
affiliation was from.
I tried to help her sell sex toys. That didn't go that well, but I did help her have work-life balance. So,
Okay, yeah, she did tell us that.
yeah.
She did tell us that part.
So, again, what was the question?
About the Breathe event.
Yes. So, I'm here to talk about, my thing has always been not to just make money, have a life balance. But why did I bring up the Breathe event? I mean, I'm here
Why
to
you're
just
here.
talk about that, to build a life, not a company.
To build a life, not a company.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
That is powerful.
Because I would think that it would be, if I build a company, then I can have the life that I want.
And I should say, as part of that, well, my three things are health, wealth, and social connections.
Okay.
So,
Ooh, social
talk about
connections.
those.
I've not heard of that one.
Health,
Go ahead.
wealth, and social connections.
social connections is what I've sort of settled on for now on how relationships and just, hopefully that word covers it. And so wealth is part of it. So if you want to have a company, that's part of the life balance, but it's not work and life. It's
Right.
work as part of your life. Especially for me, I've always worked from home. So when you work from home, your work is definitely part of your life. Right?
Sure.
Isn't that a
Absolutely.
wonderful thing, though? I
Absolutely.
work from home, too. Isn't that
Yeah.
wonderful?
Oh, originally all I cared about was like, I want to be able to make money, work from home. Like
That was it.
yeah.
Wow.
That was a primary goal. Yeah. I'm not good with the office thing.
See, I'm the opposite. I can't work from home. Too many distractions.
Yeah,
wife
I've got to
doesn't-
get
your
out of the
wife
home.
doesn't
I've got
want
to
you
do
to work from there
Well,
either.
that too.
Yes, she doesn't want you at home either.
Well, we were buying things from Dave's website, and
No, a lot of people don't like working. Sorry, I stepped on that joke. I didn't even. I'm so busy thinking about what I want to say, and that was just what again?
You're just not used to Stormie. See, you're meeting
Yeah.
Stormie for the first time. If you had known him for a while, you would have known exactly where that
would have
came
seen
from.
that
'Cause
coming.
That's such a Stormie response. And his wife is going to say, you did not just
you
say
did
that.
not say we were spending all day on Dave's website buying products, which is why you can't work from home. You
Yeah.
did not say that. I'm like, no, I didn't say that.
No, I didn't. You didn't hear that.
Yeah, not for me.
Our biggest customer are married couples. Older married couples is the most.
Wait,
People
did you
think.
just call me older?
Yeah.
Did you just
Listen,
call me
I
older?
love this guy.
Wow.
I don't
Wow,
know.
it's
Okay.
like that.
Old married couples.
First of all, no one's as old as I am, so I'm not
guys.
I'm not about to make fun. But I mean, people think it's young guys or something.
That's what I
it's
would've thought.
couples, and when I say older, I mean married, whatever. It's probably the average is probably
Go ahead, 60. You know
I
you're
don't
thinking
know.
60 when you're looking at him. You're thinking 60.
30.
Go ahead.
no. I'm just trying to remember from the data, the statistics. I think it's something like 35 to 55. Married is the most common, most of the sales.
Really?
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I certainly would have thought it was the young, that 17 to 25 boys.
17 to 20.
Yeah, a lot of
17.
people think that.
Yeah, that's what I would have
Interesting.
thought. 17 to 25 boys.
Right. Now, they're crazy than going to porn probably, but the
Right.
toys, and also toys
Yeah.
is mostly females. I mean, and it's couples. What was interesting, too, when I did a poll once to see what our customers thought, and it was like, are you buying for you or your partner? Are you a male or female, and are you buying for you or your partner, or you're single or whatever? And I had to then go back and change the survey because the most common response was, I'm buying for us. Like
Interesting.
So he's not buying for himself or the partner. It was just they considered it, and even if the person shopping was doing the purchasing, it had already been discussed, and they were buying it together.
So I would put on there, I'm buying for all of us.
Yes.
He has quite an imagination. He really does. It's
Everybody.
his
right.
poor wife, and
Yeah.
she's been married to him over 20 years, and I don't get it.
I'm going to tell my wife and my mom, you guys got to listen to this episode.
I should have brought
And
my
your
little.
mom.
I'm like,
You should have brought some.
I
Yes.
know, my God. I
Oh.
actually have these little, sextoy.com vibrators, little bullets that I give away. I didn't.
Oh wow.
Oh,
okay, you can
I
send
tell
me
you.
some.
Yeah. Sean may still have some from back in the day.
Oh, there you go, Sean. I'll be calling
Nice.
you. Like I said, anything goes on here. We'll
Anything
certainly
goes.
be putting explicit on this episode, but that's okay.
Absolutely.
That's why anything
that's
goes
anything
here.
goes here.
Yes. So. go
So
ahead.
I want to dive into this to the cryptocurrency.
Yes.
I mean, you're the expert in crypto. Or I know sometimes people have difficulty calling themselves an expert, but you spend a lot of time researching
Yes.
cryptocurrency. Is that a fair
Yes.
statement?
Yes.
And, I've dabbled in it. Don't know much about it. I'm like, hey, let me buy some Ethereum because it was one where I heard something that made sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if it made much sense to me because I haven't spent any time researching the topic. And I'm sure there's lots of people listening to the show that have heard of cryptocurrency. Maybe they bought a Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever it may be, but they may be like me and they don't know what they've done. They've just done it just to kind of see what this is all about.
Yeah.
But would you mind sharing some of your thoughts in the world of cryptocurrency? I would love to hear it.
So, yeah, it is real. It is. So, if the internet decentralized the distribution of information,
Okay.
right, all of a sudden anybody could send information to anybody, and you didn't
Right.
have to go through those channels. Now, but you couldn't do that. You couldn't send value. I can't email you money because if I send it to you, not only does that mean I don't have it, but everybody has to know that now you have it.
Okay.
And so that was the problem. So cryptocurrency is an invention that allows us now to send money over the internet. So just as the distribution of information suddenly anybody could do, now suddenly anybody can trade money, and it's in a digital form. So it is a revolution that, as big as the web was, I
Okay.
think this is bigger than the web.
Interesting.
Really?
In the long run, but yes, because for a number of reasons, or whether big or not, the web is big. This is, I think, of similar magnitude.
Okay.
And so it's happening. To me, the risk is money going? So money it is already, a lot of it is digital, but it's the decentralization, right?
Right.
What was important about the web is not that you could put a book into a computer. It's that you could send it to anybody in the world.
Right.
And so similarly with money, it's not, Bank of America, you can look at your statement on a computer. It's digital,
Right.
but you can't send just directly to somebody. It goes through the banking system. So anyways, this is happening. And the question is, to me, the risk is, well, do I pick the right investment to
Right.
capture this?
Sure.
If in the 90s, when the web started, if I invested in Lycos search engine and Webvan food delivery and whatever, I wouldn't have made, you wouldn't have made any money in those. So it's
Sure.
picking the winners. And, to make it simple, there's like thousands of tokens. There's so many exciting things going on. If you're a beginner, the safe bet is to buy some Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin goes a lot higher. But I also think that Bitcoin is going to be small. So the whole financial system as it is now is, depending on how people measure it, 100 trillion plus.
Right.
So if Bitcoin, they're trying to be digital gold, it becomes something like digital gold,
Okay.
which is now like 5 trillion. Gold as store of value is about 5 trillion in the economy.
Okay.
It's small. Gold's pretty boring. You don't use it when you go to Starbucks, right? Okay, but it's 5 trillion. Bitcoin right now is only, whatever, today, I don't know, maybe 70 billion. So it has a long way to go up, but I think it's only that. So then you have Ethereum, which I think is going to eat the banking world. I think the last
You think so?
Yes. So,
Wow.
so first of all, there's been several, depending on how you count these things, 3 or maybe 6, huge run-up, like the bubble we saw last year that everyone saw.
Absolutely.
There's been several of those prior, followed by huge crashes. So the last one was fueled by Ethereum and ICOs. ICOs is a new way of raising money on top of Ethereum.
Okay.
And that got, not everyone will agree with this, but I think that fueled the last bubble, pulled everything up with it, including Bitcoin. And again, Bitcoin's great. All the Bitcoin maximalists out there want to kill you if you love any coin other than Bitcoin. But, and now the next bubble, have we bottomed yet? Maybe. Bitcoin, Ethereum hit 80.
I was just going to ask you that.
Ethereum hit 82 in December. And to me, I spent some time researching what do bottoms look like. They have there's a, and I've seen a lot of bottoms.
Yes, you have. But
different kind of bottom, unfortunately. So it hit 80, and within a week was at 160, 100% jump off the bottom. That's like the kind of thing you want to see. It came down a little, and now it's roaring again. If it keeps going, if it hits 200 in a few weeks, I'm going to make a video talking about how I think the bottom's in. But we're not sure yet.
What's it at right now?
I don't know. Probably today 140 something.
Oh, okay.
But it was at 100 a week ago. So it's
was
on
it?
another.
Okay.
It's on a
Another
tear
It's on
right
another-
now.
yeah, it's going up.
And so we'll see. The point is, if you want to get in, you dollar cost averaging over time. This stuff is super volatile. But so, anyways, the next bubble or the next rally is there's 2 things that are already happening.
Okay.
One of the biggest people say, "Oh, there's no killer apps on Ethereum." There is one called MakerDAO. You can
What is it called?
You post your collateral. Mm-hmm. So you can post Ethereum, and eventually they're going to have lots of other tokens that you lock it up, and you can borrow a dollar-pegged token. So it's like borrowing $1 at a 1% interest rate against your collateral. So anybody, a kid in Vietnam,
That is very interesting.
a kid in Vietnam can deposit Ethereum and print dollars.
Wow.
So, and this has grown in 1 year to, it's at right now about $250 million in collateral locked up, about 80 million in this dollar peg token. That's in the first year during the Ethereum crash, and the peg held during the crash.
Interesting.
And what is that site called again?
So this is MakerDAO, it's called.
MakerDAO.
Maker. Now that's, you can get into these riskier investments. I invested in Maker. There's another. So low interest collateral loans is huge but otherwise, so for me, in America, someone who has money, the best I can do is put some money in E-Trade and stocks and borrow margin at like 5 or 6%.
Sure.
Now I can borrow at 1% on Ethereum. So
nice. Low
interest borrowing, and then high interest savings is also big and happening. I don't know what the rate's going to be, but 3 to 7% or something, sort of risk free in that the token itself value is volatile.
Right.
But if you believe in the token, you're guaranteed to get a 5% by locking it up.
Got it.
So high interest deposits and low interest borrowing is taking off, and that is one of the things that fuels the next bubble.
Interesting.
That's so funny because
Interesting.
we brought you on here to talk about the white label, as you were one of the pioneers there.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know that you had anything to do with crypto.
Oh.
And it just so happened that on the ride over here, because you were gracious enough to come visit us as you were coming for the event, and I picked you up, brought you into the studio. So, and on the ride over here, we started talking about the fact that I trade.
Yeah.
And the crypto, and you're just a wealth of information. That's why I love this this podcast format where we get to talk to people, because we always learn. I mean, Stormie, do we not seem to always learn about some phenomenal little secrets on our guests that we didn't know?
I always learn. I'm not putting you into that same category.
You don't learn anything. But there's always
Absolutely.
you're a wealth of information when it
This
comes
is great.
to this.
Well, I've been...
And the other thing that I wanted to just add this, because we were talking about educating children. I put my niece in front of the training videos that I do Forex. So I put her in front of the videos with me with the Forex, and she is mesmerized, especially when they're writing on the screen and when they're going through the crypt. She loves the seeing the charts and everything, to the point to where when he starts asking questions, she responds to him. Mm-hmm. So there has to be something that's getting in there. It's going to
but
stick with her.
I'm sort of, not to rain on your parade, but I do sort of, this trading, I'm not a believer. You know,
Nice.
I
Keep
think,
going. Beat her up.
Well, here's the thing. You do.
No. That's understandable.
I
get
pay
it.
attention. What the charts are good at is showing you the history. And there are certain things like when it's going straight up, not a good time to buy.
No.
Right? Fall.
Unless you're a big up.
You can look at the history. And so the trading, to me, some of these chartists, to me, what they are, they're good at looking at the history because when you look, if you follow a stock for a while, you get a feel for it. Like I can feel certain stocks that I've watched every day for years, if it's up or down and how that relates to the history.
Right.
But if you just look at a chart, you can by using all these tools, you can get a feel for in the long run it's less than it usually is, but in the short run it's up, and it's helpful. But at the same time, past performance is not an indicator of future. So
No, it absolutely is
the
not.
most
It is
important
not. I'm
thing,
learning that.
especially in crypto, the important thing is this thing going to be a winner?
Right.
If it is a winner 5 years from now, it will be much higher. Now, at the same time, I'll try to buy when it's not totally a stupid time to buy. I mean, okay, Bitcoin's going to be higher, but if you bought it, at 20,000 when it was on CNBC Crypto Week,
You're really mad if you did.
Right.
yeah, you could probably do better. And I think anyone who follows, and some of the technical people will be like, well, it's going straight up, so it's going to keep going straight
Right.
up. I'm a little concerned, and I worry about. Some people have done well in trading. I got that, but a lot of people are spinning their wheels, losing their money, and they'd be better off. For some of these that have been gone straight up, like Bitcoin, show me any trader, and compare their results. Even if they say, "Well, I've made a lot of money," compare the results to the people who just held Bitcoin.
Right.
I don't think any of them have won. None.
None of them would have won if they held.
The people who just held Bitcoin and never trade it have more money than all the traders.
Oh, yes. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
So it's more important to pick the winner
Right.
and hold
it.
Yeah. I mean, and I do some trade, but it's more like, at least if your attitude is don't trade, when you do. I mean, I had a good reason one time. One went up so much, it was such a big percentage of my portfolio. I'm like, well, I can't hold this much of this thing. It's not
Absolutely.
that, So then I traded, okay? Or, you learn something and like, oh, this isn't what I thought it was.
Sure.
Hopefully, though, if you bought it low and you can get out at a decent time, stuff like that. So trading can happen.
Oh no, it's definitely a skill set that takes a lot of work and a lot of time.
The other
but I would have to disagree with you in saying that it wasn't. I think it's worth it. I would have to say in basically what I've learned and in my journey, which is nothing close to yours, but I'm kind of a nerd for it. I wake up in the morning, it's the first thing in the morning, and it's the last thing at night.
Well, the other thing that's brutal now with crypto is it's 24/7.
Yes.
So, great. Best time to buy. It's 3 a.m. or you're at dinner. And
The London session, yes.
you wake up at 2 and you go to the bathroom. And, I'll just peek at the phone and you're screwed.
That happened last night.
See what I'm saying? Yeah,
now that you're right about.
It's like
last
playing
night.
video games. It's very hard to do without it ruining your life.
Right. Right. Oh,
That's
funny.
true, unless you're the creator of it. So now so what's to it? What can we expect on the horizon as we're building out this educational piece with children?
Well, I think there's definitely. I also, in my quest to create, some education, I've looked at what else is out there. There's not a lot, but there is some, and there are some things, and I think that this is a movement that's happening in general.
Right.
I think we're going to see more of this around the country in general. And for me, I have a long-term view. My kids are 4 and 6. I'm just like, I got to get to something before they get to the age. So I'm looking at this in terms of years and maybe a 10-year thing. So there's no in 2 months I'm launching something. I'm not private about it, but I'm not trying to do some giant advertising campaign at this point. I'm really testing, and so hopefully You can always follow me at davelevine.com, and I'm just doing little bits at a time, trying to share with people what I learn. In fact, my YouTube channel, the way it happened was as I was studying crypto, I'd learn something and then say, okay, now I'll make a video explaining it.
Right.
And, they say the best way to learn is to teach.
To teach, yes.
So it would get me to study harder, get me to get my thoughts organized, and then I'd post it, and when I was wrong, I'd hear about it,
Right.
And so it was I used it as a learning tool. And similarly with doing this, I think being on social media or, whatever platform and sharing things as I go, it helps me do a better job and get feedback and try to get other people involved. And I'm coming at it as sort of like at least at this point, sort of more of a charity. Let's all just solve this problem together. And so as far as what you'll be seeing is me trying to have some courses. If you're local, to Playa Vista, Los Angeles, and you're interested, there could be something there. At some point, I do want to have bigger distribution. I'm not sure. One idea I have, but this is so early that I don't know if I do it. But so how do you distribute? And I thought of an idea of what if you could make, I don't know if you know Ty Lopez. You ever follow him?
Yes, I love Ty.
I've been friends with him, and he's the king of this online education thing. And I was thinking, what if this was like a business that you could be teacher trained in a course that's proven to work, along with some tools that allow you to make this a business. And so now, so then sell the teacher training. And then people, well, I'm in my community, I've been trained in this, and then they have a way to make classes and be a teacher and make money by teaching their local area.
Well, here I'm going to share some news with you.
Yes.
Because this is pretty interesting. So my wife has been an administrator for a private school here in town for many years.
Yeah.
She started a class, which is a creative cooking class for kids. And every time she runs one of her classes, which runs for a certain period of time, whether it's they meet once a week for 6 weeks or whatever the time frame may be, she sells them out.
Yeah.
So based on what you've shared with us, I think you would absolutely have a winner. And I think you hit the nail right on the head. That's what I was going to dive into, to where you've come up with the curriculum. There would be, I think there's a tremendous opportunity for trainers to become certified within their communities.
So where is she teaching? You said
she's here in Las Vegas. It's a very prestigious private school here in town. I'll share the information with you offline.
It's a private school, because
it's K through 8.
When I talked to the public school about teaching after, they've got a thing where they're squeezing me into the regular school, but the after school program, they're like, well, you need insurance, you need to be licensed, and you need to be approved by the state. That might be just for public, though. Is it?
Yep, it's different. Well, there's certain things you have to do, and the licensing and that requirement for someone starting a business is pretty easy, because in her business, for instance, there's people that teach gymnastics after school. Right. There's people who teach other things. Now, the school's encouraged because there's a profit sharing with the school. Yeah. So, for instance, if you're selling the course, if it's $100 per student to attend this class, there may be a 60, 40, 70, whatever that split happens to be. So the school sees it as a fundraiser. You get access to their students. Yeah. They approve your curriculum, but the insurance wasn't that expensive.
Right. I guess a lot less than you think. That's probably not all that hard.
It's not that hard. It was very, very, and and at least in the state of Nevada, it's really insurance and a business license. So at least in the state of Nevada, it's pretty easy. And then I can also connect you with her aunt, who runs one of the largest online training courses for teachers. And she's she has a PhD, but she's in tune with the variety of state laws, because states, teachers across the country go through her training. So that may be a connection that we'll talk about offline.
Great. Yeah, email me any info. I like reading about what else is happening. It helps me. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel.
Absolutely.
Originally, and in fact, I found somebody. Another thing that works well in these schools is a lot of schools have a little, like a market in the school. They'll do it for a week, or they'll do it for a few months, where the kids get money, and then they pay rent. It's second grade class in Aspen.
Okay.
They have a thing. The kids get money. They pay rent for their locker and their desk.
Wow.
And they get paid once a week a salary, and they can do some things with the money. And the kids
so cool.
love it. And then this other school in near Playa Vista, they have a thing, and they do it for a whole week. It's a big market. This sort of economy within a school is another big popular thing. And and also I've heard people have said, if I go to, I don't know what the requirements, but also schools that don't have as many resources go
Right.
there. Maybe they'll be.
I would
more-
imagine
they'll just
so,
maybe
yes.
they'll be more open to letting me do whatever.
Well,
You know.
I think all schools are desperate for funding
Yeah.
and finances. So when they can see this as a moneymaker for themselves, unfortunately, that's
Yeah.
the way that they see it. They tend to get on board.
And that might help too. I think with parents when they look at it is like, should I pay? Am I paying? I see some of these after school classes and they might be fun, but they're like not.
There's no substance to them.
There's no-
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's,
No
it's
substance.
not going to make them successful.
Right.
Parents may say, okay, so, but if I pay for this class, the kid's going to learn something about money. Like
Absolutely.
that's worth the money.
100%. I think that's a winner.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
Now,
That's
are
cool.
you looking at more of the just to kind of dive a little deeper into it? Are you looking at more like you had mentioned something about starting a business, entrepreneur, things like that? Or are you
Right.
looking at, or how deep of a dive? Excuse me. I love the idea that you mentioned of paying the rent, having them to actually have that exposure to money early
So
on.
when I started really, at first I said, okay, I'm going to make this a curriculum. And I started writing. I had so much. Then I said, did I just say this about getting rid of the investing? Can't remember what I said to you when you picked me up and what I've said already here. But I had too much material. So then I'm like, okay, let's narrow it down. And I've narrowed it down to, after showing to some people and talking this, how to start a business. And what I've got is a basic process that I used in my company for creating a business plan that can be applied to any business. I have these steps: brainstorm. First, let's get all the ideas.
Right.
Okay, now we're done with that. Now let's take the ideas, analyze the ideas. If this works, how much could we make? How much could we lose? Who needs to do it? How long? We analyze the ideas. Then, now based on all that, now let's take a time. Now let's make decisions, make a plan, write it out. And then that's done. Now we're just executing. No more new ideas, no more this is it. Let's stick to it and get it done. And then you go back. So that's a process I've used. And so then I thought in the schools, teach that process and apply it to the classic lemonade stand.
Right.
But my idea, I'm calling it Lemonade Stand 2.0.
Okay.
Like find a place in town that we can do this and make some real money. Like maybe
Absolutely.
we'll sell toys. Maybe we'll have some good food. And you know what? Everyone likes to support kids. How much can we get donated? Let's get our costs down to nothing. I want these kids will go out there, have a one-day thing, and make a couple $1,000s.
Absolutely.
And all the kids are equal owners. Then we do an income statement after the day, and so that's the thing I proposed to this Playa Vista that they said that sounds good, and it's not all done yet. We'll see how it goes, but I'm open to I have so many ideas of things you could teach. I had all these. Another thing I just left out, how the economy works. That's another, what is inflation? I had these ideas, just the game Monopoly.
Right.
Can be used as a learning tool. Yeah, I feel like you could also teach a little bit about money supply by then playing the game and messing with the money supply. I don't know if you've ever played.
I haven't. That would be cool.
Monopoly, a lot of people play that when you land on free parking, you get $500.
Right.
Or if you pass go, you get $400, which taps into humans' natural desire to mess up the money supply and create inflation. And so, but there's ways to, I think teach through something like Monopoly. And that's just one of the, I just have a lot of different ideas. I've tried to make it all activity based,
Right.
Because I think getting up and just talking about this to kids, it'll just go right over their head. So I'm trying to have as many activities as possible.
And the funny part about what you just said is you just laid out these first steps, second steps. All of these same things is exactly what a new business or
Yeah.
a business that's
business.
in turmoil, right? All businesses need to be doing this exact same thing.
Yeah,
It's just that simple.
And if Dave makes this, if you make this training for third grade learning level, Deborah, you could attend and understand everything or almost
I
everything.
told you
Yeah,
I
third
graduated
grade.
to
Fourth
the
grade
fifth
might be
grade.
tough.
I graduated to the
Yeah,
fifth
I don't
grade.
believe you.
I'm up there.
I think you lied. I think you lied.
I'm up there. I'm
No
up there
offense,
now.
by the way. No offense.
Yeah. Okay. None taken. Now you know what kind of
boy.
a jerk he is, huh? No, but it's just, I mean, you just laid out something that was so simple, but
Well-
most businesses didn't do that.
Well, I'm going to push back because I'm going to learn my financing secrets from Jerry Springer, okay?
okay. Yeah.
That's where I'm going to learn about money. Jerry Springer.
Yeah.
And okay, and why?
No comment.
What's that?
Oh, maybe I've got to learn about my baby's mama on Jerry Springer. I've
Yeah,
got the
that's
wrong
right. You
show.
got the
okay,
wrong show.
show. My
I
apologies.
watched when I was starting my business. There was a period of time where I was watching. I got into it for a while,
Okay.
and then I had one of the first people I hired sort of full time, and she eventually I got the customer service database like out of my living room on the, so we could trade electronically. But for a while, she had to work in my house, and I used to have Jerry Springer on. She'd just be like, "Turn it off!" It's stressing me out. These people yelling at it. I'm like, it's hilarious. And
It was hilarious.
Yeah.
I went through a period where I lost my business, and I tell everyone I got really familiar with Jerry and Mari. I really got familiar with them, and to me, it was kind of entertaining, and it was like a woosah moment for me. I don't know why. Now I look at it, and I'm like, wow, did I ever kill some brain cells during that time? But it just kind of relaxes
But speaking
you.
of that fighting, that you mentioned that process that businesses should have it, and they didn't do it. My business didn't do it for a number of years, and it was like for maybe 10 years, but. It was also, we didn't have that. When I started this process of thinking, I got to hire someone to replace me as CEO. I hired this guy. He was really smart, a lot of ideas. And we started having more of an executive team.
Right.
So you got a bunch of people who have new ideas every day. They all think their ideas are great. We have these meetings, and then we'd be like, okay, let's do this. And then 2 days later, someone has a new idea, and it was chaos. I was
Right.
going crazy. And then that's when I came up with the system, which I didn't just come up with it. I used to do it for myself personally. Like every once in a while, I'd sit down and be like, what am I doing with my life?
Okay.
And I would do that process. And I said, why don't I apply that to the company? And immediately, it just brought harmony because we did this process, and then we were executing, and then I got the phone call. I got this new idea. This is the greatest. And then that would have turned into 5 meetings and distractions and pull off what we're doing. I said, no, you got that idea? Great. We'll put it in the folder called brainstorming. And when we get back to that, when we're done executing, we'll get to it. And it just brought peace to the company.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you?
That's it.
Let's say if there's an entrepreneur listening to the show right now and they wanted to implement this process, this brainstorming process, can you? How would you recommend someone implementing that? Can you?
So it's really you
In a
need the
nutshell.
4 steps, and there's actually a review and start over is another step. So let's say 5, but it's basically brainstorming is no idea is bad, quantity over quality. You're not judging any ideas. The goal is to have the list long,
Okay.
and then when you're done, at some point you close the door, and you're like, that's
You're
it.
done.
No more no ideas. I don't want to hear about it. Now. We go through the ideas, and you're attaching qualities to each one.
Okay.
As how much money could it make? How much money could it lose? How long will it take? How many people? Who's going to be doing it? You may have 10 ideas, and all the same developer has to do all of them.
Right.
So you do all that analysis. Then you're done with that, and then you sit down. Everybody gets together, and you make some decisions.
Right.
And some of it's easy. It's funny as you go through this process. And I remember. Well, the first idea from the first meeting, I looked at our sales chart. So we had the company, the sales were growing, and then all of a sudden, after this meeting, sales took off. I was like, that's probably a coincidence, right? This meeting, like 2 weeks after the meeting, we started making so much money that just doesn't seem like it's just great, but how could it be that great?
Right.
And granted, we had low-hanging fruit because we'd never had a meeting, but everybody works from home, and literally, people I hadn't met, I'd been working with for 10 years, like literally never had an in-person
10
company
years?
meeting.
Wow.
This was
Wow.
after there were some people for 10 years I'd never met in person who I talked to, frequently. So this is the first meeting. So anyways, when you go through the ideas, instead of that story, I'll tell you this one's, it's easier. Hey, here's one idea, add PayPal on checkout. Well, how much does PayPal usually get as a percentage of sales? Talk to a few people. It's usually maybe 20 to 30% of sales will go through PayPal.
Okay.
Well, what's our total sales at the time? I don't know. If it was $8 million a year as sales, so what percentage? If that's whatever the number, it's $2 million. So
Right.
this, if we put it in, probably increases revenue, or is now handling revenue of like a couple million. Okay,
Huh.
What's the other idea? Let's make the check, the add to cart button green. Well, that might I mean, that's good, but how much is that going to add? I don't, and all these
Right.
ideas, you start quantifying, and you're like, this is such the number one idea. It's very obvious.
Right.
But until we went through that process,
You never knew.
it was not obvious,
Right.
And there's been a lot of those. You have that. It's the analyze process is like my favorite. It's like digging for gold, because a lot of times you're like, you don't even know, and then you look at something like, how many people click on that? What? That many people go to that? Or you just ask stupid questions. What's the most popular category? And you hadn't been looking. It's like, oh, so let's fix that. So it's kind of a fun process.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we have to wrap this up because I just looked at the time, and Dave is supposed to be at another event in 4 minutes. Do you think we can get him there in 4 minutes?
It's Vegas.
It's Vegas.
Let's take the helicopter.
Anything.
We can take the
Anything is-
helicopter,
that's right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Go to the helipad.
This was a phenomenal show. Dave, let me ask you a question while you're here. Next
Yes.
time you're in Vegas, is there an opportunity for us to get you back on the show where we can continue from where we left off?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So we will absolutely get Dave back on the show. Deborah, do you have anything to add? Probably not, but I want to be polite.
I always
and
have
ask.
something to add.
Oh, then she
I
does.
always
Okay.
have something to add. So I'm just so you know, I'm going to be picking your brain about crypto.
Okay.
I'm going to be picking your brain about crypto. I still love Forex trading, but I'm still going to pick your brain about crypto.
Well,
Absolutely.
you check my YouTube.
I know you've got some.
I've got a lot of it. Oh, you know what? I unlisted a lot of them because I wanted it not be too. I'm trying to shift, but there's still a lot of videos up there.
That's
And
right. You can
if
give
someone
me
wants to
the-
check you out, how do they find out more
You know
information
what?
about you?
You
Or
can
is it-
always find me at davelevine.com.
Okay.
On the web.
Or YouTube.
And on social, I'm doing stories mostly on Instagram, and I share them to my Facebook because my friend. No. Yeah. Basically, Instagram and YouTube, davelevine.com. But on Facebook and Instagram, it's DOTCOM for the .com.
Oh,
so
nice.
davelevine.com. And yeah, that's where you follow me. And then I'm still doing crypto videos. Now it's like once a month. I was doing 2 or 3 a week. Now once a month I get on there and just get everything off my chest. Sometimes do a live show. And
Gotcha.
it's fun. You know.
You got to love these traders.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Well,
boy.
thank you so much. This has been a phenomenal
been a
show,
great
and there's
show.
some extra things that like I said, we didn't know anything about the crypto or anything. This
Yeah.
was just an extra bonus that you gave us and some valuable information. Thank you
Hold
so much.
your Ethereum if you still have it.
I do.
I'm a believer.
Okay, well, good. Then I'm going to buy more.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what I had. I'm like, maybe I'll buy some every
It's
now
been
and
running
then.
up. The chart looks a little scary right now.
I
but
was getting ready to say, really?
Yeah,
Hold
although
it?
it does in the short run, but if you look in the long run, I mean, if it hit 1,400, and now it's
Right.
at 140, so we're still 90% off the highs. It's not a horrible time to
I
buy and
bought-
hodl.
Okay.
I bought it at 300 and then it tanked right afterwards, and I'm like, this sucked.
It just knew you jumped in.
But I
Meaning
didn't
on
know.
the way down recently.
On the way, I bought it at 300, and then eventually it went down to $100. I don't know what it went down to. I just
Is
don't
this
pay attention
recent?
to
Not
it.
on the way. Was it before the bubble? You bought it at
I bought it,
300, or
after the bubble.
on the way down?
On the way down.
Okay.
So I bought it on the way down. I'm like,
Right.
this seems pretty decent. So
Right,
maybe I'll
that's-
pick up some more. It's
it
not
did
the end
look
of the
good.
world.
As they say, it's like, and I heard some good investors talking about, well, the funny thing about being down 80% is you're down, and I don't know if these numbers are exact, being down 80% is you're down 60%, and then you fall another 60%.
Right.
You feel, we're down
Oh,
60%,
we're down.
I can buy a little. And then it's like, another 60% down. That hurt.
That hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would hurt a little bit.
Well, listen, for those of you that are watching this show on Facebook Live, on YouTube, listen, if you want to catch more of these shows, the best way to catch up with Bizruptions is through our podcast. So wherever you listen to podcasts, whether it's iTunes or many of the other places, on the Google Play
iTunes,
Store.
Google Play, Stitcher, and
all
we're
those
going to
other
start
places.
on Spotify soon. Yes.
Yeah. Basically, you can find us under the name Bizruptions. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review. That's how other people can find this show. And we look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Bizruptions.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.